Do you want to improve your health, increase energy, and feel better? Long days full of demands, trying to balance work, family, health, and more, never having enough time. All that diet and exercise that you see on YouTube and all those videos just seem like another impossible task to follow. But get this, even if you get your diet and exercise right, it's not going to fix it. What you need is to master your sleep hygiene. Good sleep helped LeBron James win 4 championships, and it will improve your health, increase your energy, and improve how you feel radically. It will change your life, just like it did mine. Now, most people are familiar with melatonin. If you've never heard of it before, it's an over-the-counter supplement that it's a naturally occurring thing in your body that puts you to sleep, and taking it just makes that happen faster. But I don't like feeling drugged, and taking it is basically spiking your body's own sleep hormones. And I know if I take melatonin, that if I wake up too fast or too soon, if I don't get enough sleep, it actually makes me groggy and feel like crap. And I feel hungover the rest of the day. So I don't like to use it. But did you know that increasing your calcium, magnesium, and your vitamin D will actually improve your sleep? Now, I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
You should always consult with a health professional, not take some advice from some jackass on YouTube. But I do read a lot of research and have been a personal trainer, and it's something that I recommend to my clients. It's something I use myself, and it's something that I've had a lot of success with, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty solid, or I wouldn't share it. So you can take that with your doctor, guys, but calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D will improve your sleep. The thing we're going to talk about least today, like the smallest thing we're going to talk about, is the value of a great bed and quality bedding like pillows and sheets. And our sponsors over at MyPillow can absolutely help you with that. MyPillow is having their first ever closeout sale on Percale bed sheets. Any size, any color, just $25. That's right, you can even get queens, kings, split kings, and California kings. Any size, any color, $25. 11 colors to choose from. When they're gone, they're gone. And guys, I know I stocked up on all the beds of my house for them, because you can't beat $25 for a high quality sheet. Giza Dream Sheets, like the ones I sleep on, they're $40 off. Classic My Pillows are $17.98, and premium My Pillows starting at $19.98 for a queen size and going up from there. Guys, we're a My Pillow household. I have dozens of My Pillow products I use every single day, and we're proud to have Mike Lindell and My Pillow as a sponsor of our show. You can go to mypillow.com and use the code THRIVE for up to 80% off your order and free shipping over $75 for all of our listeners. Now, let's get back to the show. By the way, guys, welcome to the Driven to Thrive broadcast, Purpose, Growth, and Lasting Impact for Men. I'm your host, Brent Allen, and we help men go from living to thriving, purpose-filled, intentional lives. Now, LeBron James sleeps 8 to 9 hours a day, if you believe what they talk about online and all the interviews, and he takes power naps on and off throughout the day, bringing in close to 12 hours of sleep, supposedly.
As if.
I know you don't have time for 12 hours of sleep. I know most normal people are not getting 12 hours of sleep. It'd be nice. I'd love to take naps during the day. But sleeping is critical, and LeBron James knows it, because if you perform hard, if you go hard, your body absolutely has to have solid sleep. It is one of the most foundational things about your personal development, your healthcare, whatever you want to lump that in under, guys. It is one of the most foundational things you need to do for yourself. Why? Because sleep is the puppet master in the background. I mean, it's quite literally the puppet master of everything you do. Sleep directly impacts your hormone levels, gentlemen, including testosterone. That's very important. Your ability to handle and manage stress, your ability to recover both physically from like workout or hard work, like if you're out there working in the trenches and the trays and you're doing 10-hour days, you need sleep to recover physically, but you also need sleep to recover mentally. Your ability to control your weight, to lose weight or gain weight, actually has a great deal to do with your sleep. Your interactions with other people, your mental focus and sharpness, your problem-solving capabilities, you're only working at diminished capacity if you're not getting enough sleep. See if I can say that right. And your overall intelligence are all directly impacted by your sleep, which is terrifying, because If you're like a lot of people, you aren't getting enough quality sleep at night. That is why people can work out and eat right and still struggle so much with their health and their energy levels, is because their sleep is trash. Now, there are a lot of things that come together to make you healthy. Drinking enough water, eating right, working out, yes, but you can get all that right and still be hosed because your sleep is bad. And it's one of the most common problems people have. Now, sleep hygiene, if you've never heard that term before, we're not talking about going to bed clean. Yeah, you should go to bed clean because you'll feel better and you'll sleep better. That is true. But sleep hygiene refers to the practice and routines that help you get better sleep. It includes both your sleep environment and behaviors to promote restful, uninterrupted sleep. So, I believe so much in the power of sleep and how valuable it is because I found this in my own life. This isn't something I just talk about. This is one of the first things I invested in when I started my personal development journey and trying to get my life in the order I want it to be in. The first thing I did was I went out and bought a good mattress because my mattress was trash. So I went and bought a good mattress because I have back issues and other things, right? And I need good rest. We've only had 3 sponsors on this show, and 2 of them have to do with bedding. And it's because I fundamentally know that this is so critical to how well you do with all the rest of the things in your life. You will not succeed at everything you want to do at life on a poor night's sleep. Yes, everybody's going to have some long nights, but to succeed at all your goals and dreams in life, you 100% need high quality sleep, and you need it every day. So we're going to break into 3 segments for you guys so you can skip around whatever area you feel like you need to work on. But I've got some hacks for you in 3 different areas of your life, or I say in 3 different categories, to help you get a better night's sleep. Because once you get that under control, it will give you a foundation to start succeeding in all the other things you want to do, and everything is easier with a good night's sleep. So the first segment we're going to dive into is physical hacks for better sleep. Now, we already talked about your bedding early. I told you the first thing I did, I went out and bought a brand new bed. That was a lot of money, guys. I financed that because I didn't have the money for it. I sleep on the same mattress that I slept in, that I sleep on, that I slept on when I started this journey several years ago. It's still a great mattress, and that's with ghostbed.com. I used to be affiliated with them. I'm not currently affiliated with them, but guys, it's still a really high quality mattress, and I love my ghost bed. We talked about bedding. I have my pillow sheets, my pillows, blah, 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 right? My pillow will hook you guys up. Go check out with them. But then we have to talk about avoiding strenuous activity close to bedtime. Now, I know for some of you, the warning bells are going off. All right. I spent a lot of years in the trades, guys, and I understand you put in a 10 or 12-hour day at work. And if you like I went to the gym straight after work. But by the time I did 10 or 12 hours, I wasn't getting out of the gym till 6 p.m. Sometimes I wasn't going to the gym till 6 or 7 p.m. I understand that that is rough for some people. You're not going to be able to apply all these hacks. So that's why I'm going to give you several hacks in each category so you can find a combination that does work in your life. If possible, avoid strenuous activity close to bedtime because it amps up everything inside and it makes it harder to sleep. But don't stop there. Go the opposite direction. Do calm things before bed. Read a book. A lot of guys I talk to on this show, and you're probably one of them, probably wants to read more books, and you can do audiobooks or actual physical books. But a lot of guys I know want to read more books. Well, guess what? Right before bed is a great time to do calm things like read a book, listen to music. I like to go have a backyard campfire, sit in my chair in the backyard and sit by the fire, talk about a great way to wind down the night. Do get exercise, but get it earlier in the day. That's a do on this list. Physical hacks. If you want to sleep well, you actually need to be exercising regularly. If you have a fairly strenuous job that takes it out of you physically, you may not need to, but maybe maybe you do some cardio or something, but get exercise earlier in the day. You will sleep better later. Don't use your bed for anything but sleep and sex.
YouTube, bow.
Avoid your bed for reading. Don't sit up in your bed and read. Just, good God, please don't play on your phone in bed. Don't have a television in your room. My wife and I have been married for 24 years. We celebrated our anniversary last month in April. And one of the decisions we made early in our marriage, because we read it early in our marriage, is because we read a statistic that people who have a television in their bedroom statistically have like 60% less sex. Guys, your bed is for you to rest, restore, and have some marital relations, however you want to say that, guys.
You two bound to go wow wow.
But stick to that. We don't have any kind of media in our bedroom. Stick to it for sleep and sex. Take everything else somewhere else. Set a schedule. Get up at the exact same time every single day, even on the weekends. I know, I can hear the groaning.
Are you insane?
I've told that to so many people, and they're like, you're kidding, right? I sleep on Saturday. My wife being one of them. We don't see eye to eye on that. But go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time, even on the weekends. Guys, my schedule starts at 4 a.m. 7 days a week, and it ends between 9:30 and 10 on average. I try and go to bed between 9 and 10, but it starts at 4 a.m. every day, and it's between 9 and 10. I do that 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Yes, there are times where I'm wrecked and I end up sleeping a little bit later than that, but it's very rare. It's not a regular thing. I don't sleep it on the weekends. It is Saturday when I'm recording this. Guess what? I was up at 3:50 this morning and rolling by 4. Set a schedule, get up, go down. At the same time every day. It is clinically proven to improve your sleep. But let's jump into the physiological hacks. Physiological, we'll see if I can say it. Big words, right? So first we went through some physical hacks, and you're going to hear some things that I'm going to say in physiological hacks. You're going to be like, wait, isn't that physical? No, because doing it actually has a physiological response inside of your body. And so it seems like a physical thing, but it's actually a physiological thing that's happening in your body. Number one, you've heard Andrew Huberman say it. If you've spent much time in personal development, get up and get sunshine first thing in the morning. If you can get up and get sunlight for 10 or 15 minutes right off in the morning, it will train your body to be up at that time. You will wake up better. You will be more alert. The rest of your day will go better. The other kicker is go outside around dusk, just before, as the sun is getting ready to start setting. Go outside and actually be outside when the sun starts setting. Your brain is programmed at a primal level to go, oh, that means it's time for bed. So go out and let your brain process it's getting dark. Now, I know at this part of the year that can be very difficult. The sun comes up very early here, and it is not down until like 8:30 or 9. So I understand that changes throughout the year, but get your body in the program back to its actual natural cycle of the sun's up, I'm up, sun's down, I'm down. It will improve your sleep. We already mentioned the minerals, but we have to address eating late as well. Zinc, magnesium, calcium, vitamin D, these are all good things that will help your body regulate and sleep better because they all affect your hormones. But we got to address eating too late because your body can't actually go into a deep sleep when you have a full stomach. Your body has to prioritize certain things. When you're not doing something physical, if you've got food in your stomach, it wants to digest. So if you have that later meal, then your body is still actually in the digestive process when you're trying to sleep, and it won't let you get into that deep REM sleep. It's one of the reasons they talk about in controlling your weight, not eating after 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., depending on who you're talking to. It has to do with body digestion. Your body can't go into that rest state, so you don't get the full rest. It also screws with your body because it's digesting while you're trying to be in a rest state. So that means it wants to store the hormones. It got all the energy is creating from processing the food because you have nothing to do with it because you're laying flat and prone. So stop eating late because it messes with you at a physiological level. Darken and cool off your room. I'm a huge fan of blackout curtains, guys. I keep my room as dark as possible, cover artificial light, cover real light. I keep my room black and cool. Like, it doesn't have to be morgue cool. You can ask my wife every now and then. I get the room pretty cold. It doesn't have to be morgue cool, but between 57 and 60 degrees is kind of ideal. Cool your body off and sleep. I actually like to make my room colder than that. I like to get to that 48 to 50 range, but that's really hard to do unless you have a great air conditioner. Now, we've all heard about blue light, right? Media, television, phones, blue light. Well, guys, iPhone users, you have blue light filter on your phone. I'm going to assume the Android users do. But get some blue light glasses for your television. If you got to watch TV at night, if that's part of your wind down, get some blue light glasses for your television. That's not much to do. You can still watch your shows, just limit the blue light. They work really well. I have 3 sets for my computer. If you nap, only take short naps. Don't take naps over 30 minutes. Ideally, 20 minutes is actually the power range for naps, where it doesn't mess with your sleep cycle. That's why LeBron takes multiple naps. He takes multiple short power naps. If you actually go past that 30-minute mark, especially if you start heading towards that hour mark, it will absolutely mess up your sleeping rhythms. Warm showers work great for some people. That soothing has a physiological response in the body. It actually physically relaxes you. Most people who have read any kind of thing knows you should limit caffeine after 11 p.m. I told you everything in this list is not going to work for you. It doesn't work for me. It's 4 o'clock and that's still coffee. But if you're particularly sensitive to caffeine or you struggle with your sleep, I sleep like a baby. Otherwise, I wouldn't still be drinking coffee. But if you're particularly sensitive to caffeine or have trouble sleeping, then try it. Go a week and not have any caffeine after 11 p.m. 11 a.m. and see if you don't have caffeine after 11 p.m. if you're trying to sleep. But cut it off at 11 a.m. if you're particularly struggling with that. Another one that none of us like to talk about because we all like our vices. I love a good cigar. I enjoy bourbon. But if you're struggling with your sleep, avoid alcohol and nicotine close to bedtime. Now, for me, that's when I enjoy alcohol and nicotine. So definitely not on my night routine. But like I said, I sleep like a baby these days. I figured out my routine. But if you're sensitive and having sleep issues, again, maybe if you drink or have nicotine close to bed, you might experiment with removing that from your routine because at a physiological level, it actually interferes with your sleep. The third area we need to dive into is mental hacks, guys. How to get your mind, because most of the people I know who struggle with sleep, this is the thing, right? Their ability to shut their brain down and rest is one of the things that escapes them, why they struggle with sleep so badly. So here's a couple tips to help you, mental hacks to get that brain to take a chill pill and maybe let you get a little rest. Number one is do a brain dump before bed. Now combine this with at the end of your day, write out your to-do list for tomorrow. So you don't have to think about what you're doing tomorrow. Just write out your schedule or your to-do list for the next day. When you wrap up your day, whether that's work or at home stuff, and then take it a step further and do a brain dump. A brain dump doesn't have to make any sense. Just have a scratch pad and jot down everything that is weighing on your mind, everything you're thinking about. Because part of what keeps people awake sometimes is they think of these things late at night and they're like, oh crap, I'm going to forget this I'm going to forget this by tomorrow. Oh, I need to remember. Don't do that to yourself. Take a notepad. It doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't have to be in some kind of orderly fashion. And just jot down all the stuff that is weighing on your brain before you try to go to sleep. Another option, instead of that, or in combination with that, is express gratitude. One of the great things I have found with people who sleep well is they live life with gratitude. And if you express gratitude, whether that's journaling or saying it out loud or just sharing it and thinking on it for a little while, if you get into a mindset of gratitude before you lay down to go to bed, I promise you will actually sleep better. This was a game changer for me. Focusing on what I'm grateful for as I'm laying down to bed puts me to sleep so much faster because it puts me in a healthier mindset and lets my brain go from overstimulated to wow and appreciating life. So try expressing gratitude. One of the things I like to do is share things I'm grateful for with other people in my life. So you can try that. Maybe share gratitude with your spouse or with your kids. Teach your kids to express gratitude. It will help you all sleep better, especially if you do it close to bedtime. It puts your brain in the right kind of place. I actually used to put my children to bed every night with one question, and it was, what are 3 things you're grateful for? What is one thing you learned today, or one thing that somebody did for you today, and what's one thing you did for somebody else today? These were questions I asked my children before they went to bed. It put them mentally in a better space at the end of their night. Now, here's one that's really hard to do when you're on a tight schedule, or especially if you're trying to get into a new routine, is don't force yourself to lay down when you're wide awake. There are days when you're going to be totally just bam awake, like, whoa, kind of awake. Don't just lay there and toss and turn in your bed. A, it'll screw up your back, and B, it'll actually wreck your sleep for the night. If you find yourself just totally awake, try reading a book and listening to some soft music quietly, and give it 20 or 30 minutes. When you start to get tired, try again. Don't force yourself down. Now, here's one of my favorite hacks. This is something I've done with my children basically since they were born. My oldest daughter is about 13 years old now. One of the things we've done her whole life, since her and her sister were born, every night of their life, we have the same exact soundtrack. If you've ever listened to the podcast before, you might have heard me tell this story. But I've programmed my children. We have one album, one artist. We play it every single night and have for almost 13 years, guys. We started it when my oldest daughter was only a couple months old. Every night. It's a soundtrack. It cues her brain. We have literally trained them, and inadvertently ourselves at the same time, that when we turn on that album, our brain goes, it's time for sleep.
Time for bed.
It's time to wrap down and sleep. Totally killer hack, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you. Find an album. Here's a tip. Don't pick an album that you want to listen to regularly, because it will screw you up otherwise. But pick an album that relaxes you. Turn it on 30 minutes before you want to go to bed, and listen to it every single night, and associate it with the thoughts of going to bed. While you're doing your brain dump, while you're practicing some gratitude, maybe while you're reading a book, I promise you can start to program yourself within 30 days that it triggers your brain to think, oh, it's bedtime, just like watching the sun go down. The final mental tip, and this is something I have tried to teach my children. This is something I've done with myself. It started with my gratitude, with me laying down, and I would express my gratitude. I would say out loud the things I was grateful for. And then I would dive into what I call running your own program. I have a thought experiment, right? You can call it a daydream, but I run the exact same daydream that is relaxing, stress-free. I enjoy it. It fills me with warmth and happy thoughts, right?
Think happy thoughts.
I run the exact same daydream every time I lay down. My record for falling asleep is less than a minute. Between the soundtrack that I've helped program my children with, and this gratitude practice, and running this program every night, it's literally the same daydream over and over and over again. It's a happy thought kind of daydream. I've taught my children this trick as well. You go to that happy place that fills you with warmth and relaxation and peace, and I daydream that every single night. When I first started doing it, I could lay awake and think about it for hours, because I was a horrible sleeper all through high school. It took years to teach myself to sleep. This is a trick I did not know when I started, and it's something I taught myself. And when I first started, I'd be awake for hours. Sometimes, other times, I'd start to taper down. As I continued to do this every single night, I would taper down and taper down. I'm now down to where, guys, my head hits my pillow. 2 minutes, I'm out. Done. Every single night. I go to bed, like clockwork, I'm out. It is a combination of this routine. So let me give you an example. My children have had the same routine their entire life. Like I said, about 30 minutes before we want them to go to bed, we start the wind down process. And that has to do with the soundtrack we play. One thing we've done with them is we actually watch a sitcom, like an old school 30-minute sitcom. We watch that. When we turn on the sitcom, it's everything else done. The girls cuddle up with my wife and I on the couch, and we watch a sitcom as a family. Then we send them to start getting ready for bed. We turn on the music. When they're ready for bed, we do songs and prayers. We talk about some of the stuff that's gone on that day and have a casual conversation that allows us to brain dump. It also allows us to talk about what's happening tomorrow so we can get that out of our head and we're all on the same page. So no one's stressing about that. We ask them things about gratitude, right? This is a process. Well, that process, that includes a soundtrack, that includes gratitude, that includes environment, that includes a brain dump, that includes having a routine they do every night for bed. It includes positive reinforcement and positive emotional reinforcement and calming, because being close to us makes them feel safe, makes them feel secure. So we lower all the barriers of the stress for the day. We've been doing this for 13 years. I have a routine that coincides with my daughters entirely, and I just take it a step farther because part of my routine is once I put them to bed, then I head to bed right after that. So we have this quality routine that has worked for us. Mine continues on with having that positive mental space that I slip into as I'm going to bed. I kiss my wife goodnight. She takes off my socks. I know it's a silly thing, but it's part of our routine. And I sleep better when she does. So you're not going to do all these things we've talked about in this list. This is a collection of 3 different things, right? Or 3 different areas. These are mental hacks, physiological hacks, and physical hacks to help you sleep better. And you're not going to do everything in this list. Like I said, you didn't see on my list for my routine limiting meeting, that 30-minute show is part of our part of our routine. The media doesn't seem to affect my kids as much as far as like the blue light, because we don't watch TV nonstop. So it works for us. We do this 30-minute sitcom because we laugh together and have that cuddle time, and that's part of our work down. Like I said, you can put on blue light glasses if you're sensitive to it, but you still want to have that. Your routine is going to take a little work to sort out. However, you're spinning your wheels on everything else you're doing without mastering this foundational element of your health and your personal growth. Whether you're trying to set better goals or execute those goals, whether you're trying to improve your health physically, whether you're trying to improve your communication skills or how you connect with other people, everything in your life fundamentally will come back to a good night's sleep. There is nothing in the world that is harder because you got a good night's sleep, but everything that goes on in your world will be easier with a solid night's sleep. Like I said, it is so important that I have actually worked with now 2 different groups to sponsor the show that focus on sleep, because it is so important. It's not just because they're who said yes. I talked to a lot of people. It's because I believe in their products and I believe in a good night's sleep making a huge difference. When I finally learned to sleep in my life, because I was an insomniac for years, I always was a horrible sleeper. When I finally got serious about learning to sleep and teaching myself to sleep, everything in my life got easier. I started accomplishing my goals. I started having more energy. I started having better connections and relationships. Everything in my life got easier with a good night's sleep, and I promise it will with you as well. So start with setting a standard schedule. That's the easiest place to start. Like I said, I get up at 0400 or 4 o'clock, depending on who you're talking to, because not all of you like to tell military time.
0400 hours again.
I go to bed between 9 and 10. I do it 7 days a week. Find your start time and end time. I know some of you, that means you get up a little bit later than I do, and you go to bed a little later than I do. That's fine. Find your start and stop point and then start experimenting with a combination of these physical, mental, and physiological hacks to find what pieces of those things help you build that routine that lets you fall asleep fast and sleep well every single time. Because if you can get this one thing right, this foundational piece of getting good sleep at night, everything else in your life will absolutely get easier. I promise. Now, guys, I hope that helps. And I know there are a lot of you out there struggling with sleep. Please go back. I'll try and have a download on the episode page for this for you guys who like to take notes. I know we went over a lot of things, but I got 2 announcements for you guys before we wrap this one up. Number 1, some of you who are watching this on YouTube or Rumble might notice this red hat to my side here that I knocked off once already during the show. If you see this red hat is part of my new wardrobe for our new podcast, the Dad Hat Shenanigans Podcast, the unfiltered truth of being a dad. The Dad Hat Shenanigans Podcast is a no-holds-barred podcast where dads gather to talk openly and honestly about fatherhood. From laughter-filled moments to tough times, the show covers all the hats a dad wears in the lives of his kid. Protector, provider, mentor, and many other things. With candid conversations, heartfelt stories, and of course, plenty of dad jokes, each episode brings fresh perspective on the joys and challenges of being a father, and some great hat stories because all of my guests have to wear hats to talk about the different roles that they want to talk about in being a dad. Guys, I promise it's going to be a fun time. And if you're listening to the show on the day it comes out, this will air May 7th for our new show. It's launching this week. Actually, tomorrow, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, May 7th, we're launching the Dad Hat Shenanigans Podcast. It's a full interview show, and it's just dads connecting about being dads and talking just unfiltered about being dads and everything that comes with that. Now, whether you're a dad or not, one of the things that is most important in your life is the relationships in your life. And there are a lot of men who are struggling with relationship. That might be because you were never taught to connect. That might be because you took an aggressive path at work and spent all your time climbing the corporate ladder while not so much time being with your family. That might be you were never taught how to be a good dad or to be a good husband. Maybe you're not good at making friends. A lot of men struggle with meaningful connections. If you're struggling with connecting meaningfully with the people in your life, then reach out to me directly on Instagram or go to my website, purposedrivenmen.com. There's a bubble down in the corner where you can message me directly. You can leave me a video message, an audio message, or a text message, and let's talk. Our Relationship Titans coaching program will help you connect with other people who matter the most in your life. Let's talk. Maybe it's a good fit for you. If it's not, I know some other relationship coaches who can help you as well, and I'd be glad to point you in their directions. But let's start connecting more meaningfully with the people in our lives. I'd love to help you on that journey. Guys, go out, get some sleep. LeBron didn't win 4 championships because he neglected his sleep. In fact, if you read up on LeBron, you're going to find out sleep, he knows how incredibly important it is. And if it's important to a champion, guess what? You're more important than that even. Basketball, if you love basketball, great. It's a great game, sure. I'm not a basketball fan. But it's something that will pass. Your life doesn't just pass, or you don't want to let it just pass. I promise if a champion athlete thinks it's important to sleep for what he does, in your real life, sleep is that much more important because you don't have a chef or a personal trainer. You don't have all the other stuff going on. You got to carry that yourself, and hopefully with a close circle of people you connect with. But sleep is foundational to every aspect of your life. So let's get some good sleep so we can start knocking out those goals and living the life you were born to live. Until next time, guys, be better tomorrow because what you do today, we'll see you soon. The Driven to Thrive broadcast. Purpose, growth, and lasting impact for men. Helping men go from living to thriving. Purpose-filled, intentional lives. Disclaimer. MyPillow, like any other store, cycles promos. Because of the extended life cycle of a podcast, the immediate promotion that you heard mentioned in this episode may no longer be in effect when you hear it, because you could be hearing this 5 years from when I recorded it. However, as long as MyPillow is a sponsor of the Driven to Thrive broadcast, our show, our promo code THRIVE is always good for up to 80% off your order and free shipping on orders over $75. No matter what you hear in this episode, as far as the current promo, Thrive is always good as long as MyPillow is a sponsor of the show for up to 80% off your order and free shipping over $75.